All right, in this video, we're going to go over 7 easy steps to ruin your car. So this is going to be from my mechanical experience and as well as experience with dealing with customers. So this is meant to be satire. If you notice that you're doing any of these 7 things in the video, then you should reconsider your behaviors towards your car and then take your car's problems a lot more seriously. All right, so we're going to start here with number 1. So 10K oil changes. Oops, number 1. All right, so oil changes should be done at 6K or 8K for synthetic. So synthetic, conventional. All right, 10K, you're pushing the limits for oil change intervals. So some of you might say, okay, so what's 2,000 more kilometers? What's that gonna do? Well, it's not just because the interval is 10K, it's just the accumulation of those intervals. So, and most people don't go at directly 10K, they'll push it to 11K, 12, and then so on. So it's never 10K exactly. And then you have some that go at 15K, 20K, and it's mostly the problem with the advertisement on the oil. Some oils are pushing 15K kilometers for oil changes as well as oil filters, but that's really bad. And you're just going to ruin your motor eventually. It's not going to happen after the first oil change or the second. It's just like I said, the accumulation of sludge buildup due to the lack of oil change and the intervals being way too separate. All right, so depending on the car make and model, some don't even tolerate one missed oil change. So I remember when I worked at Kia, so there was one Kia Soul that missed one oil change, and I mean the Kia engines were already bad, but that Kia Soul missed one oil change and it was already knocking. So he was late by 2,000 kilometers, and that was the first oil change of the car. So the car was at, I think, 8,000 kilometers, and he was due at 6,000, brand new car, and it was already knocking. So be careful with that. So 10K oil changes, avoid that at any cost. All right, number 2, second way to ruin your car is don't do any brake services. So brake services are something that the garage is going to sell you just to keep up the maintenance on your brakes. So clean up all the guide pins and sometimes resurface the rotor, and then just clean the pads as well. So that just avoids the accumulation of brake dust and rust, so your brakes could last a lot longer and work accordingly. And then when we eventually do end up end up selling brakes to the customer because the brake service they're way too late on the brake services, then every time we have seized guide pins or really bad caliper brackets that we have to clean up, then the mechanics are cursing so much just because the customer just neglected that service. So that's a sure way to ruin your car. So don't do any brake services. And then at the end of your brake life, you'll get the bill, a big fat bill with extra time on it just because of the seized guide pins, and sometimes you might need calipers as well. Brakes that could have lasted a few more years, then due to the lack of brake services, then you're gonna have to change them prematurely, and they don't always wear out evenly on all 4 wheels. There's always one bad wheel or one wheel that wears out the brake pads faster than the others. So that's why it's important to get a 4-wheel brake service just to avoid that issue down the line. All right, next third way to ruin your car is ignore all warning lights. So check engine, ABS, brake lights, coolant, low coolant. So I don't know how many customers come in and they don't even mention any warning lights. They just come in for their just regular service, and then we notice some of these lights are on, but they don't care enough to get it addressed. So the worst one I've seen was low coolant, and it caused a overheating engine, and then boom, the engine is done for. So don't ignore low coolant lights or ABS lights as well, or even brake lights. The brake light is this notion over here. So I had a customer as well that ignored brake lights when I worked at Kia, and then it ended up being their brake lines are they bursted. So their brake lines bursted, and then they had no idea. So they were just driving, and then they had no braking power at all. So imagine that on the highway. All right, number four. Fourth way to ruin your car is ignore all noises. So suspension noises, brake noises, and so on. So a lot of customers do that. They, especially suspension noise, either they don't notice or they don't care enough to have it checked. So when you drive, when a customer comes in for just regular maintenance, just an oil change, we notice a lot of suspension noise and brake noise, but the customer never mentions any of it. And sometimes the suspension becomes like a safety hazard. You know, ball joints or tie rods barely holding on, and so on, as well as brakes. We always have to mention them that, you know, your brakes are due, but you know, customers are always going to think that you're trying to sell them something, or you're trying to scam them. So a lot of customers ignore a lot of noises and so on. All right, number five is keep your car's interior as dirty as possible. So there's nothing worse than you're having to do a interior job on any car, such as a let's say a clock spring, or anything with the seat, or anything with the center console, and the interior is dirty as hell. So I remember cars with lots of cigarette ash, cigarette dust, and so on. Smells terrible. Lots of junk from you know, fast food restaurants and so on. So this makes you not want to work on the interior. And if you do end up working on the interior, then most mechanics are just going to be careless. You know, they don't care about scratching or missing a bolt or so on, because they're going to be pretty pissed of the condition of the interior of the car. So that's why that's a sure way of ruining your car and ruining the experience of the mechanic that's working on your car. So always make sure at least to pass the vacuum before you actually bring the car, or have it just a simple cleanup. Will help the mechanic. If we have to, I mean, we have to get in the car, but if we have to do a big interior job as well, that's a sure way to ruin your car and then ruin the mechanic's experience. And he might be purposely damaging stuff in the interior just because he's pissed at the condition of the interior. So be careful of that. So all right, number 6, never check your tire pressure or tire tread. So a lot of customers don't care about their tires. I mean, if it drives the next day, then they're good to go. So that's why sometimes we have to sell them alignment checks. And before we put it on the alignment rack, you discover like I said before, suspension components that are not safe, or tires that are completely worn out. So you know, either you get camber wear or toe wear or so on. So we have customers like that never check their tire tread or tire pressure. They drive on low PSI. So if you drive at 15 PSI in each tire, then you're going to wear out the inside, because the tire is going to sit flatter, and the inside rim is going to start rubbing inside the tire, and then it's going to ruin your tire, and then you're going to eventually need 2 new tires. And as well as tire pressure, they ignore TPMS lights. So TPMS lights are there to tell you about the tire pressure in your tires, so don't ignore that light. We had customers that ignore the lights, and then, like I said before, they would need 2 new tires just because they worn out that tire from driving it flat. And some, even the worst case scenario I saw was the customer complaint of a TPMS light on, and the tire was completely gone. So she was just straight up driving on the rim, and I just couldn't believe that. So yeah, she was just driving on the rim, tire completely gone, and complaining of a TPMS light being on. So obviously she needed, well, she was lucky she only needed a tire. The rim was actually fine, but just goes to show you that people will drive their car in any condition. As long as it starts and rolls the next day, then you're good to go. All right, 7th way to ruin your car. So assume every mechanic or mechanic shop is a scammer. So there's nothing worse than talking to a customer and you know they have that demeanor or that tone, that underlying tone that, you know, they don't like you, or they just straight up think that you're a scammer. scammer alert. So you can never please these customers. They're just there to cause trouble and so on, and that pisses off the mechanic, the mechanic, and the advisors as well. So they're gonna have this idea of F this customer when I'm gonna be working on their car. So be careful of that. Don't show that you're angry at a mechanic just because they have these stereotypes. So always talk to them respectfully, and they'll try to help you out as much as possible. There is this myth that's going on that every mechanic is going to scam you, but I don't think any shop managers will want a scammer or mechanics to do a bad job on their customer car for that customer to come back, and then it's going to look bad on the shop manager as well as the mechanic. So they're always, the shop managers are always on the mechanic's ass, making sure he does a good job. So if he messes up too many times, then he's going to get fired. So don't think that every mechanic and every shop dealer or every shop manager is in on it to scam you, or after they fix something they're going to break something else for you to come back. But that's the worst idea to have. So we're trying to avoid comebacks as much as possible. We're trying to do a good job. We're trying to have a good night's sleep when it comes to going back to bed. So we don't want customers to come back, and that's the worst feeling, where you just finished a car and then that car comes back like the next day or the same day on a tow truck, and you messed up pretty bad. So don't assume every mechanic or shop owner is a scammer. We're professionals. So a lot of customers don't take our advice. They talk to us like we don't know anything, but we know a lot more than a lot of customers. So that's why watch your demeanor and watch your tone when you talk to a mechanic. We could always sense it as well. And sometimes some customers are so hard to deal with that we just, even if the job is done, we just send them on their way, and then we don't ever want to see them again. So we had that a few times at my dealership, where some customers were so hard that we didn't even make them pay. We just said, take your keys, get out, and then never come back. So, all right. So I'm here to tell you that not all mechanics are scammers. We are professional that worked at this trade a very long time, and we take it very seriously, and we have pride in our work. So yeah. So follow all these steps to ruin your car completely. All right. So this video is meant to be satire. If you have, like I said before, if you notice that you're doing any of these behaviors, so I suggest to take your car's problem a lot more seriously, and you'll end up having a better experience with your car. And it's also just to avoid all these maintenance tips and so on. It's just to avoid a bigger bill down the line, and that's the main reason why I have listed all these here. It's always just to avoid a big bill down the line that's gonna could ruin you financially. And we all know that people already hate coming to a mechanic. So if you follow these steps, your car is going to be up to date and up to maintenance. And as well as, if you do end up selling your car, then the next person is going to have a good car that's been well taken care of. And, we could, quote unquote, clean up the used car market, and we'll have better cars and better experience for everyone driving a car and so on. All right, and that's going to be it for this short video. Hope you guys find it helpful. Hope you guys find it valuable. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.